That's bad. I had my mic muted the whole time. Okay, now you can hear me talk, and it's not like a silent. It's not a silent picture stream. Okay. So hello. Hope you all had a great weekend. Are you ready for some StarCraft? Because I am. Okay. So today is going to be kind of, just because I need a lot of practice still, so most of my streams are going to be pretty practice heavy. But today, I kind of in the middle of the stream, I kind of want to do something a little different. So week 1 of CPL9 is starting this week. This upcoming week, the second week of January. This first week of January, the CPL maps were released and we picked team names and everything. So what I want to do this stream is I just want to go over these CPL9 maps. There's nothing particularly crazy or surprising about this map pack if you've played on the ladder any time since like season 8 or whatever. You're probably familiar with them. So there's nothing particularly surprising. I just kind of wanted to go over them because I like being in that map. So some point in the middle of the stream, we're gonna look at the CPL9 maps. Another thing is I'm definitely gonna start another game. It's just what the game is. It just depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm really feeling like I have the bandwidth, I'll probably do another RTS that I've been trying. I'm sorry, by the way. If you ever see me looking this way, right here, this is what you also missed. If you ever see me looking this way, right here, right? My screen is here and my camera's here. So, and I'm in a habit of just looking at my screen. So, I apologize if I keep shifting my attention off camera. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. We're going to do some grind. I'm probably going to grind PvZ just because I need to work on that. But before I do that, I need to fix this camera. There we go. That's better. The camera was like slouching on me. Only I'm allowed to slouch. What's wrong with you? Okay. Yeah. So. Wow. Way out. Oh. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to practice and then I'm going to go over CPL maps. A little. I'm not. All right, so I'm gonna have to tweak these camera settings a little bit. That's better. All right, and then there we go. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so now we're going to stick with that. Now, without further ado, let's get into some StarCraft. So yeah, whenever I play, I do all of the stuff on PowerPoint. It's just so I can record it correctly. All right, so later, I guess. All right. Sure, gonna do a few games of this.
You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals. Your warriors have engaged the enemy. You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals. You've not enough
Okay.
minerals. You've not enough minerals. Your warriors have engaged the enemies. You've not enough minerals. 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 You've not enough.
This build is. It's not once you figure out how builds work, it's not that bad, but if you don't know what you're doing, this is a really confusing build. And actually, even when you do know what you're doing, it's still confusing. Because there's a lot of movement, a lot of moving parts in it. Alright, over there. Let's put that there while we're here. Okay. Okay.
You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals.
Nope, not yet.
You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals. You've not enough
And over
minerals.
here to 15. Look at these things.
You've not enough
Okay.
minerals. You've not enough minerals.
Well, at least I'm early
Not
this
enough
time.
minerals.
Usually I'm late when I get that. 17, 18. Alright. Okay, so you're gonna go here.
You must construct additional pylons.
Okay, we're gonna go there. There we go. Alright, 19. 20.
You've not enough
There, we
minerals.
started. Down here.
You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals. My life for
Don't question it. Go with it. Here, we're gonna go here. Okay. That. Alright, now. That.
My life fire.
Okay. That. Let's go here. Okay. This pylon finishes.
My life fire.
Call it.
You have not enough minerals.
And on that. Come on. That. There we go. Okay, now.
You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
That. And then.
You
This.
require more Vespine gas.
Come on.
You require more Vespine gas. You require more Vespine gas. You require
Oh, that's not gonna be
Vespine
done.
gas.
That's not gonna be done. I needed to start that way earlier.
You require more Vespine gas. You require
I have
more
60
Vespine
seconds
gas.
until my target mark,
Require more
and
Vespine gas.
that's 100. That's a
Additional pylons.
it's a 100-second upgrade. I'm 40 seconds too late on that.
You must construct additional
And
pylons.
that's great. Things that make you feel like a wonderful human being. Okay, I'm gonna stop this. Okay. What's today? Today is the 8th. Alright, let's queue another one up, I guess.
not enough minerals. You've 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 not enough minerals. You must construct additional pylons. You've not enough minerals. My life for hire. It's all true. My life for hire.
Okay. This needs to go here. What do you need? So I get that up. Of course, here.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy speed gas. You require the Vespine gas.
There we go. Okay, now, where's my rope? Why'd I move him all the way over there? Oh, I moved him all the way over there. Pylon, and I forgot about that. Now I can.
My life for hire.
Which is a good day to die.
You've not enough minerals.
Let's put you here. Come on.
You've not enough minerals.
You there. Okay. Then. Fuck! God damn, that's annoying.
Which is a good day to die.
You must construct additional
Oh
pylons.
shit, now I'm blocked because I'm an idiot. You know what? Single player, like, I really connect with single player because, like, that's what I play. And, like, I'm used to just, yeah, right, I'm gonna stop there. I don't know why, like, I play single player games all the time, and I'm used to just, you know, like RPGs, like you just like find like patterns and what everything leads up to and builds up to and stuff. So it's working for me. That's definitely true. It feels like it's working for me. But, you know, it's good. It's good for like grinding in the mechanics, not grinding in the mechanics. It's good for grinding the build and the timings and seeing how it's supposed to work. But like for me, there's still I like to balance out single player with at least playing against the AI, because yeah, the AI is not perfect. It doesn't do everything that a human does, but it gives you some adversity. So it gives you something that's going to try and fight you. Whereas like that map's like kind of like a vacuum. So you know, and for me, like there's a disconnect between knowing how the opener works and how the build works in single player and executing it in a multiplayer match. There still is a disconnect because, and it's just because, you know, your adrenaline is up when you're playing multiplayer. At least mine is. So it kind of muddies things. But yeah, it is. Single player is really helpful for learning how a build works. And yeah, like you said, like getting the timings down and stuff. It's really good for learning that. I was grinding 23 Nexus for like a month, and even the 2 weeks in preseason, because I mostly played Terran. So I got like a month's worth of grinding just 23 Nexus at least. And in that time, the more comfortable I got with it, I got comfortable with the rhythm of producing probes and stuff, I started noticing, oh, hey, look. Yeah, that's probably true. I'm inexperienced with that, so that's probably true. It'll probably go away. But, you know, it's like you play enough 23 Nexus and you start going, hey, look. If I build my gas on 12 or I build it on 11, it takes about two probes worth of building for the gas to finish. So if I build it on 12, I'm doing nothing on 14. Right? If I build my gas on 12, I build my core on 13, I'm doing nothing between 13 and 15. It's a perfect time to send probes to gas. That's why I do it on 12. Because then it just does it. It's like I could like try and eke it out a little earlier on 11, but my multitasking isn't that good. So it's like, why make it harder on myself? You know? I'm doing nothing in 14. Why not send probes to my gas? And like I kind of and like when I've been doing this opener, I started seeing that, oh, hey, look. After 18 and I drop my core and I'm kind of waiting for that second, you know, thing, that second Nexus to finish. It's like just finishing like right when you drop at 18 just about and you send probes over. It's like 19 and 20, boom, boom. And then, you know, and then my Zealot right after. It's like when you grind it enough, you start to see like these little windows of opportunity, you know? It's cool. I like that. I fucking love this game. There is not a single game in the world that is quite like StarCraft. It's a great fucking game. And it's like I can, you know, if I can see like where I'm screwing up and where I need to refine. too, the more I play it. But the quest for self-improvement is I think for me the staying power of StarCraft. It's the quest of constantly improving yourself and getting better, and it never ends. You know, I could sit here and try and, you know, improve myself all the way up to S rank, but the truth of the matter is even if I were to ever get low S rank, I could still do tons of improvement. It never ends. And because it's so competitive and people are so, and humans are so like variable, you could be top S and still have stuff you're trying to improve. It's like the never-ending self-improvement is what I love about it.
You have not enough minerals. Warriors have engaged the enemy. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
There we go. 6 is starting. I was what, like 17? I think I started 6.
You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
All right, thanks for stopping by, man. Oh shit! Whoops! Too distracted. Oh.
Additional pylons.
This is gonna be a little bit early.
You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
Maybe I won't have to cut 13. Not at all. It's like as long of a cut as 30. Wait. Okay. It's like I really have to get for this.
Life for hire. You require more Vespine gas. You require more Vespine gas.
Okay. Put that there. Here. Okay, so the next 100 gas is going to be this. These guys are going to go here. Come on. Oops, nope, not that. There. Alright, and then next 100 gas. Kind of late here. Next 100 gas is going to be here. Alright, and now yeah, build that. Start money. That's spend. That's spend. Oh, come on. Fuck. God damn it. Fuck, so hard, bro. There. Oh, and I'm blocked, so I can't spend more minerals. That's just fucking lovely. Yeah, I know, you fucking idiot. Like, now I feel like I have to do 2 pilots. Jesus Christ. You know, for how much this thing calls you a clown, it's really more of a clown. It's like a broken record. Alright, so now we're at the latest. This is going to be kind of late, but whatever. Not that late. It's actually just going to be. Except I'm at 60 and I haven't built third second thing yet. That's really fucking late. Nice job. Just built 3 of them.
Not enough minerals.
No. Let's stay in this.
My life for hire.
Let's build this. I'm not going to try and manage that. I am terrible. But I am going to try and get some.
Upgrade complete. You must construct additional pylons.
This is better, but still not great. I got less block, but still not great. But, you know, if I keep doing this, I think I'll be in okay shape for the week. We'll do a couple more, and then we'll, what am I at? Yeah, a couple more will put me at a good spot. Alright, we'll do it. And then we'll look over the maps. Alright. That works.
Your warriors have engaged not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. Your warriors have engaged not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
Alright, now this guy is going to be older. Here. Okay. There we go.
You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals.
On
You've not enough
you.
minerals.
Alright.
You must construct additional pylons.
Here. And oh, I didn't whoops. Now I did that.
You've not enough minerals. You've not enough minerals.
14. Okay, there. Here.
Additional pylons.
Oh, I didn't fucking do that right? Of course I didn't. I'm a fucking idiot. No! God damn it! Come on. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what do I have to do to get you to fucking build? Alright. So now we have pylon here. And here. Okay. Oh, fuck. God damn, man.
Require more Vespine gas.
Alright, cool. And there. go.
Vespene gas.
Go. My building. Yes. The important things are building. That's gonna finish there.
My life for hire. You have not enough minerals.
It is a good day to die.
You have not enough minerals.
There, 611.
Not enough minerals.
Still kind of late, I
You
feel
have
like.
not enough more Vespene gas. You require more Vespene
Fuck,
gas.
in Christ, take your God.
It is a good day to die.
Takes for fucking ever to do shit. I keep forgetting how fucking expensive Noobosphere.
You have not enough minerals.
It's like you know they're expensive, except it matters when you fucking play. Hey, Escalade! Thanks for showing up, man. And thanks for the
It is a good day to die.
You must construct additional pylons.
Okay, so I've got that going. Got that going, that going. Then behind it, build that. Oh, I'm already right. Whoops. Oh well.
You require more Vespene gas. You require more Vespene gas.
Okay, now we're gonna build that.
More Vespene gas. You require more Vespene gas. You require more Vespene gas. Upgrade complete. My life for hire.
And 1 minute. And 1 minute.
Oh,
And 1 minute.
It is a good day to die.
And 1 minute.
Upgrade complete.
And 1 minute.
it's here. There. There.
And
Now.
1 minute. And 1 minute.
I'm doing okay, man. Just, trying to learn this game. Holy crap. I can see why, like, even the best people get infuriated with this game. It's because it's just it's so hard to get anything to do anything and then stop and swear.
And 1 minute.
It's so hard to get anything to do anything. My god. Alright. I was number 4, I believe. I'm gonna do... Yeah, that was number 4. Okay. So I'm still not like quite at the point where I'm... Oh no, that's it's 2 chokers actually on my neck. One of them has a I believe it's I believe it's an Aries. It's either an Aries or a Taurus. But yeah, they're choker. Okay, we're gonna do one more. I'm gonna look at some maps. Okay.
You have not enough minerals.
Oh,
Your warriors have engaged the
very
enemy. You
weird
have not
voice.
enough
Where
minerals.
to go to
You
find
have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough.
There we go.
Your warriors have engaged not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
How are you doing today, Escalade?
Not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
I need to.
Awesome. Good's always
You
good.
have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
Oh yeah? Nice.
You must construct additional pylons.
Are you like traveling for vacation, or are you just like kind of just chilling, just taking a day, or taking some days? That's cool. Here.
You have not enough minerals. 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 You have not enough minerals.
Everything's work. I don't know. It's just a matter of who you're working for and what you're working towards, but pretty much everything is work. That's what I've learned as I've been getting older. Although I don't know, my biggest issue with work and why I don't like it is because I'm working for somebody else and I'm trying to make, you know, somebody else's life better. Like, particularly somebody who doesn't make their life better. It's usually who it is. Like, a millionaire doesn't need my work; they just want my work so they can become a billionaire.
My life for hire.
Okay, now up there. I can do this here. Come on.
Require Vespene gas.
I feel like I'm sending my stuff to gas a little late. That's why that's not. But it's on time-ish.
My life for hire. Require Vespene
It's an
gas.
hour there. Wow, really? You're that stupid? I tell you to go here and you hug the fucking thing? Wow, that is dumb!
You must construct additional pylons. You must construct
Now
additional pylons.
I'm not gonna be able to get this Corsair out on time because I didn't move those to gas. Got it.
Stage 1
My
lost.
life for hire. You
There we
require more Vespene
Now
gas.
we're gonna build
You
this.
require more Vespene gas.
It's not too late. That pylon's late. That one be blocked. Now we're gonna build two. How about that?
You must construct
How about them
additional
bubbles?
pylons. Cheers. I long for combat.
It is
Now we can
Stand
up
one
here.
minutes.
You must construct additional pylons.
Stand one minutes.
Now we're gonna move that
Stand
there.
1 minute. Stand 1 minute. Stand 1 minute.
It is a good day to die.
Now. Okay. So we got everything researching. So let's build this and this out here.
It is a good day to die.
And then behind these guys, we'll start building our
You
tools.
require more Vespine gas.
Then we're gonna go up here and build some gates. It's just
Stand 1 minute.
one,
Stand 1 minute.
there we go.
My life upgrade complete.
Pylon there. Now, I don't know if I'm okay. That's almost the right number of Corsairs. We'll go ahead and build that. Go ahead and build.
Require more Vespine gas.
I have to wait for that. I'm an idiot.
Stand 1 minute.
I go here instead.
Stand 1 minute. Stand 1
Okay.
minute.
So I'm gonna stop here. I think that was not bad. On the whole, I think that was not bad. I got almost the right number of Corsairs. Like, I was at... Usually, when I hit that mark, a lot of times I'm at 3, and I was actually at 4 that game. What the fuck? I was at 4 that game, so... We'll see. I think that wasn't bad. I'm gonna go with that wasn't actually that bad. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, I want to go over the maps for CPL. Hold on. I want to... Let's see. Okay. I'm going to create some games in the CPL maps. I'm going to pause them and I'm going to look over the map. Because I just want to go over them. But I haven't actually prepped that. Because I didn't think to prep that. So we'll just create them and go over them. So let's do, I'm going to start with the maps this week, and then I'm going to go over the next week. So we're going to do Protoss. Whoops, why the fuck? Oh, it's Escalation. Alright, let's do, B, that's what we're going to be doing. Okay. So, I'm going to make these games, and I'm going to, like, time out and pause them pretty immediately, just because I just want to, like, analyze the map. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 seconds is good. Let's do that. Alright. This is gonna be, I'm gonna write, let's see. Vermeer. Vermeer. Oh, right, that was Vermeer, I believe. And this is just one. And then after we do this, then we're gonna go and yeah. Ascension. You. Oh, that's fine. I can be Karen too. That's fine. I don't care. Stay here for 20 seconds anyway. Okay. Then those are the main ones that we're going to go over. I kind of went over Eclipse, but I'll go over it. Okay, so what's the next one? I did, let's see, so we have butter. Butter's like this is an interesting map, but it's still kind of a straightforward map too. I feel like it's straightforward anyway. Okay. Okay, so now we'll do poisons. And then I believe it's just Eclipse and Sylphid. So I know we played Eclipse and Sylphid and Eclipse and Polypoid in the preseason, so it shouldn't be in my week 2 stream, I kind of went over Eclipse a little bit, so I don't think I'm going to focus on that too much. But Polypoid, I didn't go over that. I just kind of stumbled on some of the things about that map without even thinking about it. Yeah, okay, so we'll do Sylphid. I kind of stumbled on some of the problems with Polypoid without even thinking about it, and only after I played it did I realize, oh my goodness, there's some problems with this map that I can that I can exploit. So we'll go over that. Okay, so this is a Sylphid. And then, last one is the Notorious Eclipse. Okay. So, and then we'll pause the replay and we'll go over the maps after we're done with this. Okay. So what? 6 maps, 20 seconds per map. So this is only about like a minute and a half ish. Oh, okay. All right. And this is going to be the last one. Okay. So now I'll go over that one last. I'll just kind of review it and touch on it. But I really want to dig into these other ones. Particularly, this one's an interesting map, but I also want to dig into Vermeer as well. So, let's go to replays. Okay. So now, Vermeer replay. Okay, so we're gonna dig into this one first. Just kind of look at the map, see if we can find any problems, and see if we can figure out any plans. Well, not really plans, more just like long-term, not so much like plan, like build plan, but like kind of goals, you know? What are our goals? What are our long-term goals with this map? Okay. So, where's my reveal map here? There we go. Okay. So this is a 4-player map. It's, I believe, 128 by 128. It's pretty big, but so here's kind of, I mean, you know, you start here in the corners, pretty standard, right? And you have your naturals here, right? Here, here, and here, right? Okay, so what I noticed about this map when I first looked at it is this third is pretty easy. It's pretty easy to, I mean, look at it. It's got a little bit from here, but you know, this is not too hard to hold. It's not too hard to hold. It's not too hard to defend. Particularly, so like if you're Protoss, you have like a mobile force. So that's one of the advantages of Protoss, where their strengths are, is that they can move their army around pretty quickly. So, you know, I don't have to be confined. Like if I'm starting here in bottom left, for example, I don't have to be confined to this choke for a lot. I can eventually move my army out here and kind of stage it like kind of out here, or even here and here. You know, like I could start with holding this. I can move my army here and here and kind of stage my troops that are coming out of my gateways here. And if I do that, I can very easily to reacting to holding this base if someone comes from like here. So this is, you know, and I don't know. I feel like this is an easier one to hold myself because the travel distance from here to here is longer than it is from like here to here. And even across this space here, it's kind of long. So I feel like this is an easier distance to close to this base. So to me, this seems like the logical third if I'm starting in bottom left. And it's very easy to just move like stuff here and defend if something comes from up here. So I, you know, not too, right? And this is why I noticed this third base isn't too hard to take and it's not too hard to defend. This fourth base here to me feels, well, let me move out. Let me move here a little bit more. Zoom in a little bit. This fourth base in here feels a little bit trickier because it's this is a little bit further out, this entrance, and it's a little bit further away. It's a longer travel distance. Another thing I noticed about this map is every single one of these bases in the corners here has kind of a central choke that is pushed out really far. So this could also potentially be like a good thing to use. And of course, the high grounds here and here, like if you have some of your army here or even here, like if you have an OBS here for sure, I think this is a play. As Protoss, I think putting an OBS here for sure is a thing. Because if you have it here, you're going to be able to detect any enemy troop movement coming into your territory here. And then by the time you get these 4 bases here, we're looking at bottom right now as an example, right? If you look at these 4 bases here that you're kind of given in bottom right, you can pretty much protect your territory if you've got this high ground position controlled and this high ground position controlled. And as Protoss, that's very easy to do, right? I mean, so, you know, this isn't really like a build per se. It's more of just like points of interest, strategic points of interest, right? This map has some really good strategic points of interest. And, you know, like if you control this with units and you control this with units, particularly since Terran, if you're, and I think about this a lot in the context of PvT, because Terran, any map that has Terran high ground, like strategic high ground locations, is great for Terran and their siege tanks. So they just put tanks up there. So if Terran ever decides to put any of their tanks up here on these positions, right, and I'm trying to maneuver in and out of here and here to try and, you know, protect my bases and stuff, it's going to be a problem. And so this is why I always look at high ground points of interest, because I know that if Terran gets anything up there, I'm in trouble, right? They can really control and contain me if they have mines or tanks up here. So as a Protoss, you know, I have the advantage of having a mobile army, so I can get units up to these points a lot sooner than Terran can. So probably something I'm going to want to do if I want to secure these 4 bases in here, right? And same with any of these locations, right? You know, you zoom out far enough there, any of these locations, you have basically four given bases, but you have to kind of hold them. You have to secure your territory if you want to hold these 4 bases safely. You know, and if you start at any of these locations and you just move your army, which is, you know, in my level, that's not an uncommon thing. You know, you're having a hard enough time macroing and multitasking and managing everything that it's just easier to move. So if you're moving, these choke points right here are going to be the points of interest, right? These choke points right here are going to be the points of interest for your base, for what's going to be the threat for your base, right? You're going to probably see it come in through here. Probably more likely if it's moving, you know, but you don't want to discount this, because someone could be like, well, I could move across the map and go through this choke point, or I could just be a little sneaky and try and use these high ground positions. So this is why I think for me as a Protoss, especially if I'm starting to get like 3 bases up, I'm starting to get like up there in supply and I have a lot of units that I'm using, controlling these positions as soon as possible is probably going to be advantageous for securing these 4 bases. And, you know, I mean, you could have this be a rally point, this be a rally point. It doesn't really matter, but like that's a little bit more flexible. But definitely like holding these positions is going to be key. Like getting control of these positions is going to be key if you want to safely secure these 4 bases. Because it's not going to take a Terran much. It's not going to take much imagination for a Terran to just, you know, move a bunch of tanks and vultures and, you know, lay mines all up here and all up here. it's not, you know, or put some tanks up here and up here with their mines. It's not going to take a very much imagination to do that. And that's going to be, like, if they do that, it's going to be a headache. So, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't really know what my play is going to be, but these are just some kind of long-term points of interest, strategic points of interest here, and this here, of course. You know, this is a big map with a lot of this one and Ascension are both big maps with a lot of variables in terms of army routes, in terms of what an army can do. So, you know, there's a lot that can happen. Securing the second as a Protoss is pretty much a given, but once you start getting into the game where you're taking a third and a fourth, yeah, well, I take that back. Third, it's like, you know, this is about, what, 6-7 minutes? I mean, you know, this is somewhere around the first engagement is about when the third comes into play. So, the first, like, real big engagement, not the first harass, you know. Like, harassing the bunker that's being built doesn't really count. That's just harassment. But we're talking, like, the first engagement. Like, if it's like a 2-fact push, you know, 3 tanks or whatever, that's like somewhere around 6 minutes. So that's, you know, that's what I mean by the first engagement. The first real push of the game is going to come somewhere around 6-7 minutes. So, and that's about when the third base comes into play. So, you know, it's, to me, it makes sense because of that. This, to me, makes the most sense to have this be the third. Unless you're, like, here, right? If you're, like, here and here, then taking this as that, like if you're here and your opponent's here, then taking this as your third doesn't really make as much sense, because it's not very hard to just traverse this space and take it out. So, you know, that also factors in as well. But, you know, but securing, if you want to safely mine off of these bases, securing these high ground positions here and here is going to be important. And having, at the very minimal, having vision here and seeing what's going on at this choke is going to be important as well. Like, you're going to need those three points of interest checked off if you want to safely mine these 4, for sure. So, you know, it's when you think about particularly like the 4th base, how late the game goes to get to the 4th base, that's going to be an interesting puzzle, because you're almost going to have to, if you want to take your 4th just safely without any worries, you have to have these points under control, right? Because that's where all the threats can come from. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. There's this is a pretty standard map, but to me, these points in all these bases are like kind of my just looking at the map, they're my points of interest. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot that can happen, but I don't really know what I'm going to do. But I know that this is going to be a really, you know, if I want to mine 4 bases safely, this is going to be a really complex puzzle. There's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be, you know, I have three points that I want to be able to manage. And I also want to be able to attack my opponent as well. So this is a big map. This could potentially require a lot of mental resources. So That's kind of my early thoughts of Vermeer. I mean, yeah, it's a standard map, and you know, there's a lot that can happen between the third and fourth base. The game could be over either before you take your third or around the time you take your third if you're a Protoss. The game could be over by then. So, you know, just because the long game of this is kind of complex, it doesn't mean you're going to get there. So that's why I say this isn't really like a build specifically that I'm talking about. These are just points of interest that I need to keep in mind if I expect this game to go on into the later game. You know, I need to keep all these spots in mind if I want to last into the late game. But you know, this game could be. At the same time, there's no really way to know how long the game's going to go until you're in it, because depending on what you do and what your opponent do, it could be over within like 7-8 minutes. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what I do. We'll see what my plan is. But definitely, this is what's standing out to me. These points, all these points right here are standing out to me. And I feel like definitely like getting an obs here is a given. You know, like if I'm starting here at this spot and my opponent is down here, getting an obs, you know, getting my first obs, I would say probably out to here and just scouting the Terran and seeing what they're doing at their natural and maybe seeing how much they have. But then definitely like my second obs should go here. Like, to me, this is like a critical spot, because if there's any move out coming, you're going to be able to see it move out from here, but you're also going to see it come in from here pretty likely if they aim. I don't know, maybe not, because if they're coming from here to here, you know, then this might be the spot to keep an eye out on. So at the very least, if you don't have units on these points here, you want observers on these points for sure. So that's like 4 observers minimum I'm gonna need to make and station them. You know, forget tracking the Terran army. You know, 1 observer here to see the move out, and then 1, 2, yeah, probably 1, 2, 3 observers here, you know, to see a move out potentially coming here, maybe some tricky mind play here. You know, stuff like that. And then also another observer for the Terran army, you figure, and then plus another observer for your army. That's like 6 observers. I'm gonna have to go like crazy observers this game for sure. On Vermeer, I'm gonna have to rely heavily on observers, I feel like. But beyond that, I don't know what build I'm gonna do. I don't know what long-term build I'm gonna do. So yeah, lots of points of interest on Vermeer. Lots of points where you can be screwed, and lots of observers are going to be needed at the minimum for sure. So yeah, that's kind of my first impression of looking at it. So we'll look at get this next map going here. We'll look at the next map this week. I think probably the biggest challenge of Vermeer is going to be its size. It's a 4-player map. It's freaking huge. It's just a massive size, and it's massive in size, and the stuff that you're going to have to manage in the late game is also pretty massive. So just the amount of bandwidth and mental resources you need to play Vermeer, I think that's going to be really just the challenge of it. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be a rough map. Vermeer is going to be a rougher map to play the longer the game goes on. That's basically my first impression of it. It's, you know, you're gonna rely heavily on observers for Vermeer if you're a Protoss, I feel like, because there's a lot of points that you need to see what's going at the very least. So yeah, That's going to be rough. I don't know for sure if I'm going to build observers. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what my build's going to be. I'm just kind of looking at the points of interest and trying to figure out, you know, some of the possible solutions for them. And in every case, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot to juggle. That's going to be a complex map. So that's my impression of that. Let's look at Ascension. We'll correct this. This is a 3-player map, so it's slightly smaller, but as you'll see when I pause it, it is no less complex. So you start here. What I love about Ascension, what I love about this map, I've loved this map ever since like I started playing it on ladder, and like it was like, I forget what season it was. It was either 8 or 9, I think, maybe 10. But what I love about Ascension is this dynamic here. This dynamic here, I love about this map. What I really don't like about Ascension is this really confusing WTF mineral cluster. This is like so... I mean, you know, you play maps like Vermeer and Polypoid, where the minerals are very standard and laid out, but you're also starting in corners. So you play maps like Vermeer and Polypoid, and you look at the minerals, like you look at those minerals, and then you look at like this, it's like, what the heck is this? What are my 4 closest? My goodness, what are they? You know, what? I mean, this is kind of low. You know, here, 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 and here is kind of what I'm thinking. You know, this is also really close, but it's really low, so I don't want to mine that right away, right? I want to preserve that. I don't want to mine that right away. When I have this fully saturated, this is going to get mined out in plenty of time. So, but yeah, so this point, and then this main right here, I believe, yeah, this is the second main here. This is a little bit, this right here is a little bit, is more standard mineral. So this is kind of like what you expect to see in here versus whatever the hell this is. And same thing here, this is also kind of standard. So, you know, that's what I don't like about Ascension, is this spot and this mineral cluster right here. Like, what? But what I do like about Ascension is this. And this. You know. So I've played this, I tried playing this map. This right here, if you're attacking with an army, you can only fit 1 unit through this space. So this is really, it's not impossible to engage, but it's really hard to engage without, you know, managing every single unit and microing and stuff. Making a lot of like corrections and stuff with micro. This is really hard to engage in if you're just moving. So I like that about this map. It's not, like I said, it's not impossible, but it's with a big enough army, this is hard. So more likely, if you deal with any kind of army engagement, it's probably, I would guess more likely it's going to come from here, unless it's some kind of early game harass BS that's, you know, going to be annoying. Then it might come from here. But large scale army, like, you know, like a tank, like a mech bio push, I think a mech bio push, like if you're starting from here at this location, I think it's more likely that a mech bio push is going to come from here than it is going to be from here, because it's going to be a nightmare getting your units through that. It's going to be much easier coming down from here. So, you know, it may not be a bad idea to have an observer here early on, but I feel like probably holding this here is going to be the point of interest. You don't want to hold here, because if any units are coming here from the high ground, they're going to have the advantage engaging you from here. You know, so you want to kind of hold maybe a little bit more like in this area. So in that way, with the units coming from the high ground, and they're going to be on level ground when they engage you here. So that's probably going to be a good, you know. But this is what I like about Ascension, right? It's different. It's a lot more like high ground terrain play. It's really fun. So yeah, I don't think it's like if I get any nasty pushes from Terran, I don't think I'm going to see it come from here. I mean, it's not impossible. So you want to have an observer there just in case, but I don't think it's very plausible, because I've tried managing large units through this. I've tried managing Dragoons from this in single player. This is a pain in the ass. No, I think it's going to be more likely that if I deal with any Terran pushes, they're going to come from here. You know, either here or here, depending on where they start. Like if they start down here in this main, more likely it'll be staged up here and come from up here. But if they start in this main down here, you know, it could be staged right here and it could come from here. So either way, I feel like kind of holding my goons here is not a bad idea. And having an obs here, because if I have like my goons here and I have an obs like even here, just kind of here, seeing anything coming through, then I can move my goons down here. So that's kind of like some of the early game engagements that I'm going to see right around 6-7 minutes or even 8 minutes when I'm trying to secure this. I think that given everything about this map, I feel like this is probably, well, I don't know, this could still work. I haven't decided where my third's going to be yet. But one thing I wanted to show about this map is, and I've learned this, so this, when I first looked at this, because I saw kind of this texture and this texture here, I was wondering if this was high ground, but this is actually level ground right here. So so this is all level ground right here. There's no elevation here. But this is going to be this point right here. If you're looking at, again, like points of interest in the longer game, in like, you know, right around like the 4 base-ish mark, right around the 4 base mark, this is a point of interest, because if you can hold this here, then the old if you start here and you can hold this here with a good enough force, then your only real threat is going to come from here. But, you know, if your 4 bases are 1, 2, 3, 4 here, you don't have a base here yet, you know, any threat that's going to come to you from here is probably going to hit you here. So, you know, you control this, and you control this, and you've got these 1, 2, 3, 4 bases held pretty well. So, you know, and let's say if you have this as one of your 4 bases, well then, you know, your threats are going to be from here and here. But if this is one of your 4 bases and you have, like, say this one as well, again, you can just kind of, you know, you can very easily move units from here to here. And then now, you know, you have this, and now you're in a pretty strong position. So, you know, so the center and every single one of these bases, by the way, every single one of these bases has this kind of a ramp, right? So for this base up here at 12 o'clock, this is your ramp, right? Your far ramp. For here at like 4 o'clock, you know, this is your far ramp here. And for here at like, I don't know, 6, 7 o'clock here, this is your ramp here. So if you can hold this and this, or if you can hold this and this, you know, you've got basically 4 bases secured for sure, possibly 5. So there's some points of interest here in the longer term. You know, elevation in StarCraft Brood War, elevation is a strategic advantage. You know, if you have any, like if I have dragoons up here and I have tanks coming up from down here, I have the advantage. If I have dragoons up here and I have vultures coming out from down here, I have the advantage. You know, tanks, you know, once they're sieged down here, then, you know, they're a problem. But, you know, I still have the advantage as long as they're sieging up. You know, that takes time. So, you know, elevation in Brood War is a big thing. So, you know, this point, and this point, I feel like are all going to be kind of critical points to keep an eye on. Again, certainly put an obs there early on. The later the game goes on, the more units you have to spare. Maybe try and hold this, control this. But this is not a high ground location. This is actually level ground. So controlling this is not so much an issue. Having vision of what's going on here, though, is going to be important. So definitely, I'm definitely probably going to want an obs, like maybe like right here in the middle, and you know, maybe an obs or two like right here, just to see what's going on, depending on how much one you can see. Because what's going on here is going to be important. But in terms of advantage, there's really no advantage to holding this because it's all level ground. This is more of an advantageous position, I feel like. But you know, when you're talking about 4 bases, you're talking about like, you know, at least you're talking about like at least 15, 16, well, maybe 12. For me, you're talking about like 16 minutes of the game. 5 bases, you're talking like 20 minutes, you know, so it's, you know, it's like controlling 5 and working off of that. You're talking like a 20-minute game, 16, 20 minutes. So that's a long way to go. Again, these games could be over in 8 minutes. So, you know, what I'm learning is that you really just want to have kind of points of interest for the longer game, but you don't really want to focus like a build around those. You just kind of want to like, just kind of keep them in the back of your mind and keep your eye on them. Definitely keeping an eye on what's going to happen on this hill. Like if you're here, keeping an eye on this hill is going to be important. Or at the very least, you know, keeping like units here so they can react to what's coming down here or what's coming in here is going to be the thing. You know, if you have units here, I mean, yeah, you have tanks up here that might be a problem, but are they going to be able to see your stuff? You know, not right away. So this is like having units here to react to here, to react to like what's coming down from here is going to be important. And you know, if you still have them here, they're still going to be able to hold this location here. So, But I don't feel like, because of how small this area is, I do not feel like you want to have your units waiting here. That's going to be a little dangerous. So we'll see. Just kind of looking at the topography, looking at like the positions, and again, this is a lot like Vermeer, where there's at least two or, I mean, there's basically virtually only one way into the base, but because of this, there's potentially some sneaky stuff that can go on. But in terms of how to get to like this point here from the ground, you know, there's more than one thing that could possibly happen. But I feel like the likelihood, again, like moving large units through this is a pain in the ass. Moving small units through this, you can do it, but you got to really focus on them. So I really feel like from my level, from the low level, you know, this area here is going to be the threat. You know, it doesn't mean nothing can happen through here. It just means I don't feel like it's going to be very likely. But still, you know, there's a few different avenues of what can happen in a map like this. It's not quite as open-ended as Vermeer is, but still is a little bit open-ended and fluid. You know, there's still some things that can happen. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, honestly, I feel like having ground threats come from here and here is the most likely thing. And I feel like because it's so hard to move units through here, you kind of have to move them through here one by one. Taking this as a third is, I mean, I still might do it, but I feel like this is a more logical third for my level. For, you know, I mean, I'm not very micro intensive. It's not where my skill is, and neither are my opponents. So I really feel like moving from here or here is going to be the bigger threat. So, you know, like if my opponent is here and I'm here and I know that this third right here is probably going to be, you know, under fire a lot, and I'm probably going to be seeing my opponent's ground forces come from here or here, maybe I'll want to take a third here. This is pretty safe in that situation. So that's also something to think about. You know, just because it's hard to move units from here to here doesn't mean it can't happen. And that's what I like about this map. It's very, there's still some fluidity. There's still some open-ended things that can happen. It's not quite as straightforward as, well, this is my third, you know. But this is definitely, like, if you're starting here, this is definitely, for ground forces, this is the point of contention, I feel like. So, anyway, some interesting stuff. The middle is, you know, probably want to have an obs like here in the middle just to see what's going on, but I feel like these ramps here are going to be the bigger points of interest. And you know, and being able to like if you start here, not letting your opponent control this is going to be a point of interest, because if your opponent controls this with their forces and they can easily attack from, you know, if your opponent controls this with their forces, they basically have command over what's ever going on in these bases. So, you know, this is definitely in the longer term, in the longer term strategy, this is definitely a point of interest. As is this. This is kind of, you know, it's not a huge point of interest, but you still want to see what's going on, because it's potentially, a lot of stuff could potentially move through here. So it's kind of my thoughts on Ascension. You know, just like kind of like long-term points of interest again. But I love the elevation, the way elevation comes into play in this map. That's why I like it so much. It's a fun map. All right, so we're gonna look at another one. These are just like my initial like impressions, what I'm thinking, where my mind is going when I see them. Okay. Well, let's look at Butter. It's a 2-player map. It's a smaller map, but it's gonna be kind of different. But I've played Butter a lot, not a lot, but I've played a few games on Butter. In some ways, it feels very straightforward. I like some of the ideas in it. I just don't know how practical they wind up being. So Butter is 2-player, right? You start here or you start here. You have your natural here. You have your natural here. So, yeah. So, and then you have like a base here, and then you have a base here. These are your next immediate bases. Whether they are your third or not, you know, that all depends on you and what you want. But anyway. So this map, when it comes to like early game aggression and stuff, because you have you're here and your opponent's here and it's 2-player, so you know where they are and you know how short of a distance this is. Like if you look at like this distance from this point to this point is much shorter than if it was a cross bond from this point to, say, you know, somewhere over here. It's a much shorter distance. So, you know, there's some BS. There's some BS that can be going on Butter. I played a PvP one time, and I had probe harassment. I started here, and my opponent was down here, and I had probe harassment going on here, and they just rallied zealots all up here. They were just rallying zealots all up here. I mean, it's like that stupidly straightforward. Now, here's the interesting part about Butter. If you wind up surviving the early game and going into the mid and late game, then some interesting things can happen. Because, you know, like I said, you usually kind of go for your third around the 6-7 minute mark, around when the first engagement happens. Like if you're the aggressor in the first engagement and you're really, you know, kind of winning it, then you kind of take your third. So that, you know, somewhere around like the 6 to 8 minute, it's very variable. 6 to 8 minutes, I want to say. It's variable what's going to happen in those 6 to 8 minutes, but I feel like right around that mark is about when the third is going to be taken. Now, here's where Butter gets into play. Is look at this base here. Look at this base here. Wow. My God. Let me tell you, if you're a Protoss and you're facing off against a Terran, this is a suicidal base. Okay. And look at this base here, right? So we have some, I mean, real hidden base shenanigans going on over here at the far side of the map. And even for a third base, you know, we have some real hidden base shenanigans going on. Like you can easily take this as a third, as a hidden third, mine off of it, build gateways here, and like control this. Honestly, high ground. High ground. If you're PvT, high ground is a threat, but it's only really a threat if Terran beats you to securing the high ground. Again, as Protoss, you have an advantage of having the more mobile army. So, if you do what I do, where I'm looking at all these maps, I'm looking at where are the strategic elevations, you know, if you already know where they are, and you know, like what the dangers could be if the Terran controls them, they just go there first and control it before the Terran does. You have the advantage of having the mobile army. So, you know, that's why I identify high ground locations. Because my PvT is very control oriented. But because it's control oriented, and I know that Terrans like to control the map as well, I need to identify these points, you know? So there's some real third base shenanigans that could go on here. I kind of feel like in a Protoss versus Terran versus Protoss, I kind of feel like, honestly, sorry, excuse me. I kind of feel like that the Terran taking this as a hidden third and controlling this here to defend it is more likely. Because if I take a hidden third here, all a Terran has to do is siege tanks up here and throw vultures down these ramps. And then, you know, the vultures kill my stuff. I pull my probes out and, oh, look, there's tanks up here. So I feel like for me as a Protoss, taking this as a hidden third is kind of suicide because of this. But if you're a Terran and you take this as a hidden third and then you put tanks like up here, that's pretty good. So that's something to watch out for. But, you know, I've watched a lot of games on Butter. You don't really see a whole lot of stuff going on here. I don't really, you know, in terms of like base trading and base play and stuff, you don't really see a lot of stuff going on here. Because this is so much more direct and there's so much more of an imminent threat coming from here. And, you know, you can sneak some units, you know, across from here if they don't have anything up yet. You know, this area is more of the point of contention on Butter. So it's like, I like the ideas of this map with these bases here, but in reality, because there's this here and there's this here and there's, you know, and there's just this space in here, this is where a lot of the action winds up being. So, you know, for PvT anyway, it's pretty straightforward from here. Now, that doesn't mean that like I can't have any like hidden bases here. Like if I have a hidden base here, you know, and there's tanks here, they're probably not going to be able to fire on this, I don't think. Maybe they might. I don't know if they can actually reach the Nexus here and the probes here if there's tanks here. So this might be something to keep an eye on. But again, you know, you have something here, you know, you put like an OBS here, or you station some units here, right? And then your hidden base is secured. But, you know, I don't know. There is some potential for some hidden base stuff here, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to be very likely. I think this is going to be, I think Butter this season, whatever happens on Butter, I think they're going to be much more shorter early aggression games, just because of this short distance to cover here. So it's an interesting map. It has some like this, like I said, I like the ideas of this map, but it winds up being pretty straightforward just because of how close you are. So that's Butter. I feel like this is going to be pretty straightforward. You know, get the goon, you know, build my goons, attack, you know, try and attack here, try to attack their bunker here with my goons. You know, they might try and 2-fact push me this game because it's so short, but I feel like this is going to be I feel like if there's any map where I can plausibly be at high risk of 2-fact, it's going to be this map. Just because it's so easy to get from here to here. But, you know, build some goons, get 3 goons out of the map, go for 5, 7 goons, whatever. I mean, it's gonna be pretty standard, pretty straightforward. And I feel like this map is gonna probably be pretty easy to figure out what's going on within the first like 7-8 minutes. I don't feel like this is. I don't feel like this map is as. It has. There's some potential for some hidden bases, but I don't feel like it's as open-ended as Vermeer is, or even Ascension. I feel like this is a pretty straightforward map. You know, worry about the early stuff going on here. Try and secure. This is to me like the most logical third. And like this is probably pretty logical. This would be fun. Like really just take the expansion up to the opponent. I don't know. So. Yeah, I feel like Butter's gonna be pretty straightforward. It seems to me to be a more straightforward map than it looks. But you know. I might you know, you don't really see Terrans doing, I mean, you do see Terrans doing hidden thirds, but you see Protoss and Zerg doing hidden thirds much more, so we'll see what happens. Okay, let's look at, not Butter, sorry, we did that already. Let's look at, Sylphid. I want to save the preseason maps for last. So let's look at Sylphid next. Okay. Okay. Cool. So Sylphid is, I haven't really studied this map. I don't really have a whole lot of experience on this map, so this is going to be kind of more of a... This impression is going to be a little bit more organic than usual. Than what I've been... Well, this is going to be a little bit more organic than the last 3 we've looked at because I spent a lot of time this week playing Vermeer and a little bit of time playing Ascension, so I've played them on my own. I've gotten to know them, and you know, Butter, I've played a lot of that on ladder, so you know. But I don't really have a whole lot of experience with Sylphid, so let's take a look at this. So you start. So here's a main. Here's a main. Here's a main. Okay, so you know, again, you know, you have your natural here, natural here, natural here. Okay, so man, you know what? I'm looking at these maps, and one of the thoughts that just came into my head is I need to play with shuttles more, because I feel like the shuttle, like some of these hidden bases, like they're a pain in the ass to traverse to on ground. But man, you know, using a shuttle, it might actually work out better. I don't know. I need to play with shuttles more. Like, okay, so my immediate first impression is. Okay, this is probably the most natural third to take. Natural third. Natural third. This third, if you wanted this to be a third, this would be a pain in the ass to move your worker to. So you'd probably have to do it like early on and just keep an eye on what happens here. But for the most part, this third right here is pretty natural. And there's elevation here, which is okay. But look at this. There's a ramp here, and there's a ramp here. So, like, if you have this be your natural third, if you go to this as your natural third, and you have, like, say, your army here, you know, you're probably pretty good. You're probably pretty secure with an attack coming from here in the center, but my goodness, look at this. You're wide open up here. So that's something. This is kind of contentious. This reminds me a lot of, like, some of the stuff I ran into on Polypoid. This seems like a really a potentially what do you call it? There seems to be a lot of potential for conflict at this third base here, just because it's so open. It's so open. It's so easy to get to, and like if your opponent denies it, it's critical. But it's also hard for you to get up there. And well, it's not hard for you to get up there, but it's just as easy for your opponent to get up to this third base as it is for you. So, you know, if you're busy macroing and you're not paying attention and your opponent sneaks a vulture here, this is going to be a problem. Don't ask me how I know. So that is interesting. It's a very contentious natural third here. This is not a bad spot for a third. I don't dislike this idea here. I do not dislike this spot for a third at all. And in fact, look at this. Here and here, you can... My impression looking at this, can't I just build here? So can I actually build more gates here? I don't know. I'll have to play around with that this season. This seems like an interesting spot for up here. For this base here where I'm starting on this map, it would be this spot right here. Again, it looks like I could build gates here. And for this spot here, it would be up in here. Yeah, I could build gates there. And if I have my natural here, I can have my army here, and I have gateways here. This is very easy to defend. It's not a bad idea for a third, I think. Honestly, I like, I'm just looking at this. I'm liking this third location much more than I'm liking this the natural third location. So it's like I almost have to like break my want to do the natural thing. Oh my goodness. I like that. That's a good idea. That's an idea. And I can still, like, if my opponent, so the nice thing about this base here, especially if I build, like, if I start up here and I build my third here and I build gates here and my opponent still decides to attack me head on here, I can reinforce from the flank. I can reinforce from here and counterattack. I can reinforce from here and attack behind their lines here and still attack from the front. This is a great, this is a great spot. I like it. My brain loves this. My brain is not happy about this. This is like, oh my God. It's this like, you're just inviting lots of conflict and lots of stuff being destroyed. This is also not bad. Like the reason why I made that comment about the shuttle earlier is because I was immediately looking at this going, huh, look at this. It's like directly up north. If I build a shuttle out of my robo, like say I build an obs first and then a shuttle, or I build, let's say I go like obs, shuttle, obs, or yeah, that would probably be the best. If I go obs and then shuttle and then obs, I can have an OBS over here to keep an eye on the enemy base, to keep an eye on the enemy move out. I can build a shuttle. Yeah, my second OBS would be kind of late if I do that, but that's all right. That would be like something you risk, you know. You have to risk something, and you have to, StarCraft. Again, I think I've said this in one of my other broadcasts, but StarCraft is a game where you can't do everything. So what are the most important things to do? And because you can't do everything, that means that whatever you decide is the most important thing for you to do, there's always going to be a risk, and there's always going to be some danger that you're going to be opening yourself up to. So, you know, like if I want to do so OBS shuttle OBS, and then shuttle like a probe and some zealots. No, shuttle a probe up here. Look at that. Put a probe in a shuttle, bring it up here, drop a third. This is a free third. Put some cannons here, put a cannon here. I have a free mining third, and it's kind of sneaky. Like it's so what I like about this, it's here for this base, here for this base, and here for this base. Right? What I like about these positions is that if you have a shuttle, they're right next door. It's so much if you have a shuttle with a probe, it's so much easier to go to take this than it is to take this or to take this. So much easier. You know? Build your robo here, right? So you could still that might be all right. Or maybe build your robo like here. I don't know. But you build your robo, get your shuttle, bring it over here. It's so much easier to shuttle a probe over here than it is to hike a probe up here. Sorry, this base. My bad. It's so much easier, like if you're in this base here, it's so much easier and quicker to shuttle a probe to this base than it is to hike a probe to this base or this base. Way easier. And once you get a probe up here, it's way easier to hold too. Look at this. Pylon wall, cannons, right? Pylon wall here, cannons here, and a cannon or two here. Boom. You're safe against drops. You're in a pretty strong position against any kind of a ground army that stumbles on this base. So this is basically like if you put a shuttle here, this is a free mining base. Damn. I like that. Get this free mining base here. Take this as your fourth, where you can build more gateways here. Don't even have to worry about this stupid suicide natural third. Oh my god. And the entire time you don't take this natural third here, your opponent's going to be like, I don't know if they're on 3 bases or not, because they haven't taken their natural third. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. One can hope. Of course, if they're Terran, doesn't really matter, because whatever questions they have in their head, they can always answer it with a scan. I don't see a natural. I don't see a third here. What about here? What about here? Like, they could just easily answer that with a scan, so I don't know. But that is not a bad idea. I feel like as far as securing these positions, this is way easier. It's way easier to pylon wall this and build cannons up here than it is to run a probe all the way up here and constantly reinforce units on here to fight off whatever's coming from here. It's so much easier. Damn. I love this map. That's a free third base, and all I have to do is build a shuttle. Shit, maybe even build a shuttle before OBS. That's all I have to do. That's great. And then look at, and again, look at this building space here. You know, by the time you're going for your 4th base, you already have a bunch of units on the map. You can easily station your units like here, and then build your gates here and just rally them here. You can easily do that. Damn, I like this map. This is different. So this map doesn't really, with this map, there's not a whole lot of high ground power play with this map. Instead, you're almost using it. It's like you're almost that's kind of cool. There's no power play with this map. All the stuff, like if you're doing Terran ground versus Protoss ground, all the stuff is going to be happening over level ground, open ground. Nobody's going to be hiding. Well, nobody's likely going to be hiding anything on high ground elevations to get an advantage over you. This is all going to be open ground engagements. That's going to be great. Instead, we're going to use... Okay, so instead the high ground... for this map, high ground is used mainly for like economic purposes. That's interesting. I love this. And look at... oh, okay, so 3rd base, like you start here, right? Natural base here. Natural base here. You can even like secure this, wall this. Natural base here, you could secure this and wall this and put cannons here. 3rd base. Look at this 4th base right here. Oh my god, that's beautiful. Holy crap-a-moly. I could station, by the time I'm ready to take this base with everything that I have in terms of production, I could station everything here. Like literally rally and hold and station everything here. Hold this ramp already by nature. Build gates up here. Rally everything to like here. And hold this base. That is amazing. I love, look at, oh my god, I love that 4th base right there. And this space is not as great, but same idea. I can, you can easily build a nexus here and then kind of, try and figure out how many gates you're going to fit in here. And then just rally all your gates to this point right here, So you move your unit, you have your main base gates rallying to this point. You have your 4th base gates rallying to this point. You have, pylon wall with cannons here. You've got 4 bases totally secure from any kind of ground threat. Now, what I like is about this map, now that I'm thinking about this, getting a shuttle and dropping it up here, that's 3 free bases. That's practically 3 free bases with the shuttle. That means that against Zerg, because against Zerg, I'm walling here, right? I have a wall here against Zerg. So how am I going to get my 3rd? How am I going to get my 3rd really quickly? Oh my god, look, I have to run all the way up here with the probe, and this is in the open. I have to run all the way over here with the probe, and I have, I'll probably have to play it pretty close to the chest here. But look at this. Against Zerg, I can wall here, not even worry about this base and this base, and just shuttle the probe up here and hold it. I have 3 free bases on this map against Zerg. What? Oh my god. I love that I noticed this and I immediately went shuttle. 3 free bases in a PvZ on this map. Tell me that doesn't make your mouth water as a Protoss. It's making mine. Oh my god, that's amazing. I love this map. I already know what my PvZ... Just hearing myself talk, I know what my PvZ plan is going to be. Oh my god. I am going to be rushing to get that robo out. Rushing to get that robo out. Oh my god, and And when I get the robo, the first thing I'm going to build out of it, I'm going to be rushing to get it out. I wonder. Because I need to get Storm to secure my nat. So... But I don't necessarily need Storm to detect lurkers. Yeah, I think I might be rushing. No, yeah, I think I'm just going to be trying to rush to get the robo. I think what I'll do is rush the robo, then build a shuttle right away after the robo, and while the shuttle, and then like basically while the shuttle is building, then start the obs, because the obs is going to finish, I believe, before the shuttle does. So I could still build my observer when my obs is done relatively soon. So there we go. Immediately, robo, shuttle, observatory, or yeah, robo, 100% robo, start the shuttle, then start the observatory, then go for the op. All right, cool, nice. This is, and the sooner I get that shuttle out in PvZ, the sooner I have this free third. This is a free third base in that. Oh my god, that's beautiful. Look at that. Just pylon wall right here. Cannons all right here. And then, like, a couple cannons here for mutas. This base is secured. I love this map. I totally love that I saw that. All right, cool. So we have some ideas for Sylphid. That is awesome. Oh my goodness. And that's going to be so fun to try and figure out a way to execute. That is awesome. I've never actually analyzed, I've never actually like really digested the map that way. And I've played on it a few times, but I kind of forgot. But I've never really digested it to see like what are some things I could do. I love that map. That's great. I don't have to worry about a third base as much versus Zerg anymore. Because that's my problem when I play in PvZ is I have no problem holding two bases and trying to power it. Well, I do have some problem, but like my brain, I can wrap my head around holding two bases and powering up on two. But then what I struggle with is that transition into the third base. Sylphid, man, the sooner you build your robo and get that shuttle out, the sooner you got your third base. I love that. I am super stoked about that map. I'm gonna look forward to practicing that in PvZ. Hell yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do Polypoid next. I played these last two maps, Polypoid and Eclipse. I played them both in the preseason, and I also have videos of my video footage of my preseason performances. But it's on my YouTube if you want to check them out. But I never really analyzed Polypoid. You know, I not analyzed. I never really like looked at the map and saw any of the points. So we're gonna kind of go over that formally. That's why it's second to last. Because I've also played this map, so I've kind of stumbled on. Okay, so Polypoid. Okay, you know, you have here's your natural, right? It's a 4-player map. You start in corners, right? And you have naturals here, here. Do I know Polypoid? Here and here, right? Now, what I learned about this map is, again, this is the same kind of thing we saw in Sylphid, right? Where you have this is kind of like your natural third, and you can very easily reinforce it from this point here, but look at this. Your enemy can just as easily attack you here. So this as a third is kind of a pain in the ass. Which is why, like, when I played Polypoid, I opted for either this as a third or this as a third. Right. Oh, sorry. This spot here, right? I opted for either this as a third or this as a third. But, you look at them again, they're very easy to get to. For you and, well, actually, this is harder to get to. This is a narrower ramp. Same with this. These ramps are narrow. These are harder to get to. So I opted for these as third bases instead. But what I ran into in Polypoid and what I wound up exploiting to my advantage in the one game I won is this is a natural third base. So you or your opponent, when you're playing, because this is so close to get to, this is going to be where you're going to want, like, intuitively want to get to. But the problem, which is we found when I on my map against a Nerf engine, on the game I played where I won in preseason, this right here, like, I started here and my opponent started here, right? And this is, where I needed to go to get to here, right? Well, look at that. This is right in the middle. And so that is potentially the thing you can exploit on Polypoid. One way or another is that this third potentially becomes very contentious. And in fact, in that map, whether or not the Terran was able to expand and hold this third basically decided the match. So, if you're playing this map and you're really, you're close, like here or here or here or here, here, right? If it's not a cross spawn and you're really, and your opponent is like directly adjacent to your base one way or another, you can exploit these third bases, right? You can exploit this third here. Yeah, so you can potentially exploit these third, not all of them, like, right? So, but like this base right here, you can exploit it if, you guys are here, right? This third here, you can exploit it if you guys are here and here, right? So it's not always perfectly exploitable very easily, but they can be, just like on Sylphid, But and also just like on Sylphid, though, if you're aware of how easily exploitable this third is because it's in the open, right? The nice thing about like say if you're starting here, the nice thing about this location and this location, yeah, you got ramps here. They're narrow, so it's going to be harder to move lots of units up them. But yeah, you have ramps here, but look at this. It's kind of naturally protected. This is not naturally protected. It's very wide open, which makes it which makes it an easy target. So in both Sylphid and in Vermeer, we have natural thirds that are very open and easily exploitable for your opponent. That's a danger. And well, it depends for you or your opponent. Like if you're me and you're a control oriented Protoss, you have a mobile army and you're trying to identify all the points that you need to pay attention to have control of the map, you know, you can easily exploit this against your opponent, which is what I did. So, you know, this natural third in Polypoid is a problem. But it works the best in one circumstance. Like if you were on Polypoid here and here, and you cross bond, especially in PvT, like, you know, probably, it's still going to be contentious. It's still going to be contentious because it's wide open. But it's not going to, it's going to take, because it's a cross spawn, it's going to take a lot longer for it to be a hot point, right? Because all your units have to traverse across the map to this point or to this point here, right? So you have a lot of distance to cover. So it's going to take reinforcements a longer time to get there. So it's still going to be a hot spot, but it's not going to be quite as hot as if you were right next to each other. So still kind of, you know, like, I mean, I'm well aware of that. So like, you know, I mean, I remember when I was watching my games getting cast, the casters were like, was it the casters? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something different. I take that back. Anyway, I've played games on here with friends and stuff, and I never expand to here. And, you know, like I've had it, like, you know, I don't know. I think I've raised questions as to why I don't expand here. I don't expand here because I'm not, like, as a Protoss, I'm not ready to expand here because it's so wide open. Like I would probably have this be like a 5th or something, just because of how open it is. It's much easier to defend this and this versus this. So anyway, yeah, Polypoid is it's a pretty standard, pretty straightforward map, but your natural third is very easily exploitable. It's also a mineral only base. That's another reason why I don't go there. I don't expand to my natural third because I'm a Protoss. I need gas to do anything in this game, so I don't go for mineral. I don't want to go for a mineral only. It, you know, but yeah, this is a pretty straightforward map. You know, there's not a whole lot of like power play going on with elevation potentially. There's not a whole lot of potential power play going on with elevation in this map, unless you decide to take this, then yeah. But this is just otherwise just pretty straightforward and standard. Just, you know, be aware that this is a hot spot, and it's also, again, if you're a Protoss like me and you need gas, this is mineral only. But also for attacks and stuff, this is a hot spot potentially. So anyway, yep, that's Polypoid. Pretty straightforward. But an exploitable natural third base. All right, and we're gonna quickly review Eclipse. Eclipse is oh, we're getting towards the end of the stream. Oops. All right. So I think 3 hours is about the maximum to go, considering I'm not a pro or anything. Okay, so Eclipse is going to be the last one we're going to review. We're just going to go over it really quickly, just so you can kind of, again, see what I was talking about on my my week 2 video. So Eclipse is it's a 2-player map. It's a cross-spawn 2-player map. You start here and here. Now, again, it's a cross spawn. So to get across the map, you have to traverse all this distance here. And of course, elevation gives you advantages in StarCraft. So, you know, if you're really trying to fight the Terran for power, probably these two hills is where a lot of your action is going to take place. And in fact, I have a preseason game where that was the case. It was all on what was happening, the engagements that were happening on this hill. Now, another thing that could happen on this map is, like, let's say if you do like a 2-fact push, like a Joyo push, for example, where it's the 3 tank 2-fact push, and you know, you can get there, you can get to the opponent's base the Protoss base relatively early, like where they're still rallying a few goons here. This space right here, this path here, is a great kind of, especially if your army is mobile and you don't want it to move up and down elevations and stuff. This is a pretty nice path. This right here is a pretty nice path to take, and if you do the push early enough, it's kind of stealthy and it hits your opponent pretty head on. I feel like it's pretty stealthy anyway. So there's a long travel distance in the middle. Another thing, again, of course, with Eclipse is you have your main base here, and look at this. Here's a ramp. You can just pile on wall here, build cannons here, boom, it's held from any ground threat. You can build tanks up here. Boom, it's held from any ground threat. And so that's, when I say a free base, that's what I mean by a free base. It doesn't take very much to defend it. You can invest comparatively little resources in defending it versus like comparatively little to say constantly reinforcing a ground army to make sure it doesn't get taken out. But you know, this is what I mean when I say a free base, right? So it's 1, 2, 3. Look at that ramp right there. 3. And of course your natural. 4 free bases on either side, right? 1, 2, 3 free base, 4 free base. So 4 free bases on both sides. Like, obviously, if you're trying to tech up to 4 base, you know, if you're a Protoss or a Terran, if you're trying to tech up to 4 base, you have a lot of free bases on your end of the map. It's just a matter, like particularly this 4th here and its neighbor right here. It's just a matter of getting your worker there early enough and securing it. But yeah, 4 free bases and a long travel distance. This to me makes sense for a 5th. I guess maybe this makes sense for a 4th if you want to build, but you can, you know, you can build a little bit here. Not too many. You can fit a couple gates here. And you can't really build here as much, but you might be able to fit a couple gates here as well if you're really careful. So that's the downside to those. When I say 4 free bases, I mean like economic bases, right? This base is going to be kind of like this base and this base in terms of production are going to be kind of the base you're going to want to expand to for, if you're Protoss, for adding on more gates, obviously. But you know, the problem with this base here is going to be this open-ended point here. Same with this base here, right? The problem with this here is going to be these 2 points of entry here. So this is very kind of an open-ended 4th, 5th base, depending on how you think about it. So, you know, that's Eclipse, right? 4 free bases and a long travel distance. Lots of Like this would be a great. I could see a mech bio push, 2-fact mech bio push, just totally taking advantage of this early on. And then this, once you start getting your armies out and it becomes more of a back and forth across the map, these are obviously points of power, right? Whoever controls the hills, particularly in Eclipse where it's cross spawn, very back and forth, whoever controls the hills basically controls the game. So in late game, ground versus, or sorry, mid game ground versus mech back and forth. Whoever controls these controls the game. So these are very obvious points of interest. But yeah, basically, like if you want to take this as a fourth and build gates there, you know, that's going to be very open-ended to hold, right? And same with here. Like if you want to take this as a fourth and build gates there, that's going to be very open-ended to hold. So, you know, if that is the plan to build this as your fourth and make gates, probably would be a good idea to send a few like dragoons. You know, hold, like protect this with a few dragoons until you get cannons up, right? And then build gates up here, maybe. But I don't know. Yeah, I look at this and I immediately think economy, particularly for like if I want to reinforce off of several gates and build arbiters and stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4 bases that are free, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 bases that are free. So, and you know, Eclipse, honestly, it's a 2-player map, but because it's a cross spawn and there's all this messiness in the middle, it really, I'm finding that it really, incentivizes, to me, it incentivizes me to take these ASAP. So it's going to be hard for my opponent to control and to control the game here. If I make it hard for my opponent to control the game here, you know, it's going to be very hard for them to also shut this down once I have the pylon wall here. So, you know, that's, to me there's more incentive to take this base sooner than there is to take this base sooner. But that's just how I think. So anyway, that's Eclipse. I'm not going to really dwell on it too much. So what I want to do is I want to quit this game and about 3 hours, about 10 minutes away from 3 hours, I want to stop record. I want to open up another game. I feel like I have enough bandwidth for maybe 20 minutes or so of another RTS game, particularly one that I'm still trying to learn the mechanics of. So let's see. So yeah, so let's do that. So we're gonna minimize. I think I'm about done with StarCraft today. Actually, I got my practice. Okay. So we're going to. This is a cool game that I found. It's called. It's called Ashes of the Singularity, and I'm still. I'm not comfortable venturing beyond the tutorial yet. So I'm just going to play the tutorials. Definitely the first one, possibly the second one if I have time. But I love this game. And what I love about it is that of all the RTSs that I've played, and I've played a couple, um, I've played Warcraft 3, I've played Age of Empires 2, and to some extent 3. I also played a bit of Age 1. Of course, I played Warcraft Orcs and Humans when it came out too. I loved that game. That was a great game. I didn't really like Warcraft 2 that much, but I liked the first one. And let's see, what's another one that I've played? I've played Crossfire Legion pretty recently. That one's okay. It feels very micro intensive and tactics intensive. Like it feels
have become so powerful that they can individually control thousands of semi-sentient machines spread across an entire world. Now imagine that they have gained the ability to manipulate individual particles across time and space to seed worlds with these machines. What do you think would happen if you guessed that an endless war would rage across the stars? You would be right.
all right. Cool. Okay, so sorry, that's a great intro. I didn't want to skip that. So I've played Age like 2 and 3, a lot of 1 too. I like Age 2 is more popular, but I think I like the challenge of Age 1 a little bit better. So I've played a few of the Age of Empires games. I've played Warcraft 1 through 3. Not really a big fan of Warcraft 3. It's very slow, and I don't really like the heroes very much. I tried playing Spellforce 3, but that was too much like Warcraft, and it kind of made my it kind of like I ran out of patience with that game really quickly because I don't like Warcraft. And I've played Crossfire Legion. That was pretty good. Like, I like the game. I think it's a pretty good and challenging game, but it's very focused on, like, at least the campaign anyway. It feels very, like, micro and tactics intensive. I haven't really gotten to the whole, like, base building macro extent of the game. It's okay. Like I don't dislike the game. I feel like I have to spend time learning it, and I just haven't. It's not high on my like learning how to play Crossfire Legion isn't high on my priority list right now. Devoting the time to it. And then like I've played Command and Conquer 3. I've played Halo Wars. You know, I've played. I played a few RTS games, and of all the ones I've played, this one was released like this year. I think it was released in like July of this year or something, maybe September. It was released sometime like around Q2, Q3 of 2022. Sorry, this past year. And this feels the most like StarCraft to me in terms of the complexity of managing a base. And at the same time, with your units, having the game constantly move forward. This feels the most like StarCraft to me. And so that's why I think I really love this game. It's StarCraft, when you're learning it, what makes it challenging to learn, particularly from like a macro mechanical standpoint, is that there's layers of things you need to remember to do in order to fully macro. And what I'm learning with just the tutorial missions of Ashes of the Singularity is there's also layers to the macro in this game as well. And I really like that complexity and those layers. So we're gonna go over the tutorial missions just because that's where I'm at right now. I haven't ventured beyond. I've played the basic tutorial maybe like 3-4 times, and I still don't feel like I know it very well. And I've only played the advanced tutorial like once or twice. So we're gonna go there. We're gonna learn this game. But I wanted to show you the cinematic because that's a really cool cinematic. Reminds me of PlanetSide 2.
Welcome to Ashes of the Singularity Escalation. This is your Nexus. It is the hub of all your economy. If it's destroyed, so are you. This is bad. Try to avoid this. The Nexus also creates engineers, which are vital for base building. Your Nexus will always start near some metal deposits. These generate a small amount of income, and metal extractors can be built to increase yield. Using your engineer, build a metal extractor over the metal deposits.
Okay, so this is... Oh, wow, that's tiny. I almost missed that.
Congratulations, you've just made your first step towards conquering the galaxy. In the top left corner of the screen is the resource panel. This displays current resource stockpiles, storage, and income per second. Metal will automatically flow into your stockpile until you reach maximum storage. Once that happens, any additional income will be wasted. As your income increases, you will need to ramp up your production and spending to compensate. To start spending metal, build a factory in order to produce frigates. For the purpose of this tutorial, build and capture speed have been increased.
I wonder if I can put more than one on a hotkey like I can in StarCraft 2. Spare.
Factory completed. Time to start producing some brutes. Production structures such as the factory can be set to repeat build queue. This allows it to endlessly produce new units as long as you have the resources to support it.
Oh, really? Oh, this just got interesting. Oh, it's like Warcraft. Like Warcraft 3, not only can you put multiple of them on a hotkey, but all you have to do is just press a key once and it builds out of all of them.
This will be
just
enough
like
brutes to
Warcraft.
get some work
That's
done.
awesome.
Send them to capture the generator to the west. Generators are defended by neutral units called creeps. Creeps must first be cleared before it can be captured.
Okay, what is attack? A move is A. Alright. So my economy is out of control now.
Well done. Now that you have this generator, you will gain income from the nearby deposits, especially after building metal extractors. You're currently gaining metal, but not any radioactives. This is a radioactives region. Capture the generator with brutes and build a radioactives extractor on the deposits. Nice work. The more extractors you build, the more income you will gain.
So see what I mean? How like, and I'm doing it very slowly, how like I'm, you know, building up my income, and then building up my forces, building some forces, and then attacking forward, getting more income, attacking forward, getting more income. That's what I mean about like there's a motion, there's a forward motion with this game that I like. Okay, now here. Move those there.
This is a radioactives region. Capture the generator with brutes and build a radioactives extractor on the deposits.
Okay. So if you notice, I have a cap at 1500.
Now that you have both metal and radioactives income, it's worth investing in cruisers.
And
Build an
then,
armory
so
unit
the
engineer.
amount I can mine is 1500. So the amount of resources
While
I
your
can have
armory is
spent
building,
is capped
can
at
be
that.
assigned a rally point.
This is
this
my
allows newly built units to automatically
what I
move to
just
the front.
built. My radioactive extractor. That's this second resource. It's very much like StarCraft as well, where you're doing where you're managing two resources. I'm gonna build 2 armories. And instead of 5, I'm gonna put you on there. Put you on 0. Put these guys on 5. Oh, and if you build,
Select the armory and you'll see a wide range of available cruisers. Each cruiser has a
I'll build
specific
like
role
3
to
of them.
play in the counter
If you
system
build more of
by
these
being
engineers,
specialized against a
it's
particular
also like
unit type.
StarCraft 2,
Hovering
right?
over
We
the
have a lot of
build icon
SCVs and
presents a
it makes
tooltip which
buildings
explains the role
faster
of each unit.
in the campaign
Building
anyway.
a mixed unit composition and adapting it to counter your opponent is vital. There's one more kind of region which we haven't yet mentioned. This is a Turinium generator. When held long enough, a critical mass of Turinium will result in victory. Turinium is only acquired when holding more generators than your opponents, and capturing multiple Turinium generators will increase the rate of accumulation. Turinium generators are well defended with creeps. Zeus cruisers are ideal for clearing them, but enough frigates will also get the job done. Send some forces to capture it now.
Oh, that's first. Oh. Add them all to that. Okay. These guys are gonna be on 5. 4 is gonna go here. Now, this is a long-range artillery. Alright, we're gonna build this so we can destroy some of them. So we have, okay. Fast reconnaissance with long sight range radar. Support unit has no attack but heals nearby friendly units. Okay, so this is like a ground scout. This is like a healer, so, and this is like
Well done.
a brute.
At the top of the screen, you'll
Strong
see the
against
progress
other
towards
frigates.
critical mass of Turinium.
And fragile unit can attack from range. Okay, so this is like
As your
kind of
army
like
grows, you will need to increase your logistics capability. Logistics acts as a population
like a
unit that
marine
must
and like
be increased to
firebat.
sustain
Well,
larger
no,
armies.
not really marine.
If you reach your maximum capacity,
like a
you'll
zealot
be unable to produce new
and a,
units. Logistics is
dragoon
displayed at the top of the resource panel.
and
It shows
medics.
your current amount, a maximum,
If Protoss
and a
actually
plus
was
symbol
allowed to have
quickly
medic.
increase it. We've sent you a dreadnought to cap your logistics. Upgrade your capacity now.
We need more logistics.
Okay. So these guys right here. So what's this?
Logistics is displayed at the top of the resource panel.
Forgot to
It
do
shows
that.
your current
Okay, so
amount,
it's,
a maximum,
that's
and a plus symbol to quickly increase it. We've sent you a dreadnought to cap your logistics. upgrade your capacity now. Good. Upgrading logistics costs a third resource called Quanta. You will not be able to upgrade it again until you have more. Quanta is generated from quantum relays, which are built with your engineers. Build one now. Here's some additional engineers. Using multiple engineers to build a structure will reduce construction time.
This. Okay. So the quantum relay is what we use to upgrade. It's I don't remember if it's the upgrade facility or if it's important for upgrade tech, but it's linked to upgrade.
Insufficient radioactives.
These guys here be like.
Logistics is just one of many quantum upgrades. Open up the quantum upgrade panel and you'll see a range of economic and combat upgrades. Quantum upgrades can be applied infinitely, but ramp up in price each time they are used. We're sending you some additional quanta. Upgrade your weapons damage.
Quantum upgrade installed.
Building quantum relays and upgrading your forces can be a great way of getting an edge over your opponents. Capturing this next generator could be a challenge due to being on a plateau. Your forces will take damage for some time before they're able to ascend the high ground and sight their enemies. Unless you have a large numbers advantage, it's worth revealing the high ground with air units and orbital scan or radar. While base defenses can be countered, they are a valuable tool for defending regions. Similar to units, base defenses have roles and specific targets they excel against. Certain base defenses can also upgrade to more powerful
Alright, let's
variants.
try and just attack everything up here and see what
We're
happens.
sending in a scout plane. Notice how the artillery cruisers are able to safely engage the enemy defenses, so long as they have vision on their targets. Use an engineer to build a smarty system and a constable near the radioactives generator. Remember, hold down shift to queue up one structure after the other. To differentiate between metal and radioactives, look at the shape of the deposit. Metal deposits are circular, while radioactives are triangular. This is consistent with the minimap icon and when zooming out. Your radioactives region is under attack. Your defenses will deflect this small raid.
there. Alright, build some there, here.
Nice work. Destroying your enemy's forward bases will limit their income and production. Air units cannot be targeted by most weaponry. Specific anti-air weaponry is required to combat air. Their fast speed and ability to fly over terrain makes them ideal for harassment and reconnaissance. Build a Sky Factory, then produce a Fury Squadron. Furies are deadly against bombers but can't attack ground targets.
We have captured a generator.
Here comes another Hades bomber squad. Destroy them with your Furies. By now you'll have generated some Quanta from that orbital relay. Quanta can also be spent on orbital abilities which are utility and offensive support powers. Open up the orbital ability panel and you'll see a range of abilities ranging from economic bonuses to an orbital strike. To use an ability, click on the icon, then select an area on the map or a target depending on the type of ability. If an orbital ability is grayed out, you either don't have the required structure or enough Quanta to use it. Here's some more Quanta and all the required structures. There's a group of enemy units hidden here beneath the fog of war. Reveal them with the sensor sweep, then place an offensive orbital to destroy them.
Wow.
Enemy units destroyed. Well done. Orbital abilities can also be blocked in certain areas due to orbital jamming. This is your opponent's base. Try to cast an ability and observe the red circle with the jammed display. We've sent some strategic bombers to your nexus. These deliver a devastating payload with a wide area of effect. Use them to destroy the orbital nullifier, and you'll be able to use orbitals in this area. Destroyed, well done. Now you can decimate your opponent's base with Orbital Strike. Destroy your opponent's nexus or acquire critical mass of Terrenium to complete this mission.
Quantum upgrade installed. 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 Quantum upgrade installed.
There we go.
An enemy nexus has been destroyed.
All right. So yeah, that's about done. That's about it for my stream. But that was just the basic tutorial of that game. A lot. Like I'm going over it again. It's like, damn, there's a lot to think about. So that game, that tutorial just goes over like the basic layer of building units, moving them forward, building resources, upgrading your quantum, and some of your basic abilities and stuff. That's all that does. It's just very basic. The advanced tutorial then like takes it a step further and builds on that, but we're not going to go over that today. Anyway, so thank you for watching my stream. I hope to see you again next Sunday. Yep. Anyway. Okay, I had to refresh. All right, so I'll see you again at this point. I'm doing Sunday mornings, so I'll see you again next Sunday. Thanks for watching. If you showed up in the chat, shout out to my friends who showed up in the chat today. Thank you for showing up. It's good to see you guys. Hope to see you. Well, hope to see you again very soon in a week. Have a great week. And as always, of course, stay safe and take care. Till next time. Bye bye.